What if I told you that when a narcissist loses an empath, something changes in the spiritual world that they will never recover from? Stay with me until the end, because what Carl Jung discovered about spiritual energy exchange will totally revolutionize how you perceive celestial justice. Carl Jung said that every relationship works on an energy level beyond what we can see, and nowhere is this more clear than when a narcissist eventually loses their empath. Here is the reality that many people don't realize: when an empath eventually walks away, they are not just quitting a relationship. They are cutting off what Jung called an archetypal connection that the narcissist has been relying on for many years. And the spiritual implications, according to Carl Jung's research, are very devastating. Listen attentively to what Jung discovered occurred in those first moments. The narcissist senses it instantly, not emotionally. They are incapable of such intensity. But Jung defined this as a disturbance in what he called the societal unconscious. It is like an enigmatic vampire abruptly cut off from their source. The energy they have been draining, that pure life force that the empath provided, suddenly disappears. And here is what will surprise you: Carl Jung said they cannot understand why they suddenly feel so empty. But this is just the starting point of what Jung termed their spiritual unraveling. According to Carl Jung's research on archetypes, empaths hold what he defined as the light-bearer vitality. They are natural sources of what Jung called numinous power, spiritual energy and unconditional love. The narcissist, thriving from their shattered shadow self, has been draining this light to fill their own inner void. But here is the twist that shifts everything: once the empath goes, they take their light with them, and the darkness that remains, Jung said it's terrible for the narcissist's mind. Carl Jung found that the narcissist encountered what he called enantiodromia, a propensity for things to change into their opposite. They sink into what spiritual experts call the dark night of the soul. But here is the difference that Jung discovered: for many people, this darkness results in awakening. For the narcissist, it results in desperation. They strive to find another source, another empath to drain. But something has changed in the cosmos. Jung found out that the same strategies that once worked surprisingly don't. It's as if the spiritual world itself had marked them. Here's where it gets extremely frightening for them. Jung said that the moment an empath breaks free, they experience what he called individuation at the spiritual level. All the energy they spent on the narcissist comes flowing back, intensified. They undergo what Jung called the restoration of the self. Their instinct develops into what Jung considered as almost supernatural vision. Their boundaries became what Jung referred to as emotionally and spiritually unbreakable. Their light burns so brightly that it literally draws away darkness. Jung discovered that they evolved to become spiritually untouchable. But the narcissist, according to Carl Jung, is going through the opposite phenomenon. Jung understood that energy has to circulate in balance, what he termed the concept of compensation. The narcissist has been taking without giving for so long that they have formed what Jung described as a spiritual debt in the collective unconscious. And when the empath goes, that debt comes due. Unexpectedly, everything they have done in the darkness comes into the light. Their manipulative strategies stop working. Others begin to see through their ego disguise. Opportunities run out. Jung said it's not coincidence, it's what he called synchronization in opposition. Spiritual principle in action. Listen to what Jung discovered takes place next, because this is where the tables turn completely. The empath, finally free, starts to rise. Jung called this the unveiling of the real self. Their creativity erupts. What Jung considered meaningful coincidences multiplied. The right individuals show up at the right moment. Doors open effortlessly. It's as if the cosmos itself is celebrating their freedom. They are going through what Jung considered to be a divine connection with the collective unconscious. Everything they were barred from while with the narcissist unexpectedly becomes accessible. At this point, according to Carl Jung's findings, the narcissist spirals. They cannot figure out why nothing works any longer, why their charisma falls flat, why people are suddenly unavailable, and why life is more difficult than ever. Here's the spiritual reality Jung revealed: they will never understand. They are facing the karmic rebound of every pain they inflicted, every tear they caused, and every bit of light they tried to extinguish. But here is something that will totally blow your mind regarding Jung's research. Carl Jung said the empath does not have to seek revenge, because what he termed the self controls spiritual balance naturally. Jung's research proved that every single act of manipulation, every deception, and every moment of brutality gets recorded in what he described as the mental structure of truth. And if an empath eventually says enough and walks away, they trigger what Jung called a spiritual threshold. Justice becomes obvious. The narcissist might try to hoover them back. But here is what Jung found out that is different now: the empath has awakened to what Jung termed their archetypal completeness. They consider the narcissist not as powerful but as what Jung identified, a severely broken soul. They perceive the attempted manipulation for what Jung said it is, a frantic shadow self trying to grab light because they refuse to deal with their own darkness. And this is the final spiritual reality Carl Jung uncovered that changes everything. Jung discovered that if a narcissist loses an empath, they lose their last chance at what he called real individuation. Because empaths, with their pure love and endless tolerance, represent what Jung called the anima or animus, a reflection of the soul, a last chance to face their own darkness and choose recovery. But by violating that gift, by manipulating that pure heart, Jung said they seal their own spiritual doom. Carl Jung's years of research revealed this: the empath rises through individuation. The narcissist descends into fragmentation, not because of punishment, but because of what Jung defined as an innate spiritual principle working through the collective unconscious. Light rises. Darkness, left to itself, overwhelms itself.